What is up, YouTube, and welcome to another first impressions video. And this time we got a lady of the scales, the goddess Light Mercedes. First of all, let's look what her stat line looks like. She's a light soul weaver Taurus, meaning she has the same stat line of units like Amid without the E, meaning that she has decently high base speed, 117, and she has a lot of base FRS. 30 base FRS plus potentially another 27 from imprints, making it base 57% effect resisting, meaning that she has the potential to play multiple different roles. You can play more of an opener like unit with high base speed. You can play her a super high F-res, kind of like the ER playstyle. So at least from the stats, looks like she has the potential to be good for everyone and fit into every playstyle. But without further ado, let's look at the skills. Let's see what the
Concentration.
skills do.
Skill 2. Scales of Equity. At the start of battle, grants offering to the foremost ally. The ally granted offering will be granted 70% damage sharing from the damage
Holy
received by all allies, and upon receiving lethal damage, will be granted immortality for 1 turn.
Wow.
Immortality can only be activated once. When the ally granted offering dies, recovers health of all allies by 50%.
That's a lot.
When combat readiness of an enemy increases during battle, increases combat readiness of the caster by up to 50% of the amount of combat
Wow.
readiness increased. This effect will not be applied to the combat readiness increase effect triggered by the same skill. Skill 3.
Wow.
The Caress of
Wait.
Mercy.
Before we go into skill
By
3,
up to 50% of during
let's
battle.
talk about this skill too. So the game starts, she makes the frontmost ally like a mega Aureus unit. This is kind of turbo insane. We're talking about 70% damage share. This means like basically, effectively, virtually every unit on your team, but the foremost ally, has ML Vivian's damage reduction passive. 70% is a lot of damage reduction. The foremost ally is gonna die very quickly though, because it's soaking up basically all the damage. If they AoE once, right, the foremost ally will die. But they thought about that, granting the immortality for 1 turn, so that the foremost ally can tank for an extra turn, right? That's actually insane. This means that you can play her basically in any playstyle because she's gonna make your team impossibly hard to kill, at least through raw damage, right? Your team is not gonna die. 70%. It's ML's Vivian passive to every single one of your units. Also, that after that, when the foremost ally dies, recovering health by 50%. This means like imagine the AOE, right? The AOE to kill your front ally. The match goes, your front ally finally dies, right? Your team was taking cheap damage because of the 70% damage mitigation, and when the foremost ally dies, recovering 50% health means basically your entire team goes back to full HP. I also like the fact that she's also available to CR cut, right? Every time they get CR, she gets a little bit of combat readiness as well. But goddamn, this effect is super duper strong, and I feel like it's gonna be playable for every single playstyle because you can play aggro with her, right? Imagine like you can play turbo cleave, right? And usually, generally speaking, the anti-cleave units don't do that much damage, meaning that the 70% damage reduction means that your team is gonna survive, is gonna be even your cleave team, which is composed of squishy units, are gonna be able to tank 1, 2, maybe even 3 hits because again, this is like virtually ML Vivian's damage reduction passive, which is insane. Also, I feel like they really want us to play with the new ML Raz, right? imagine having Raz in the front line because Raz has the passive where if he dies, he revives with full HP. So before you are able to kill your Raz, right? If you have Mercedes on your team, first they have to kill him, right? Do the damage. Then he gets immortality, so he survives for another turn, and then after his immortality wears off, you kill him, and then he revives with 100% HP, which is kind of insane. This skill is very strong. It gives me Arunka vibes, okay, guys, in the sense that your team cannot die. While the front ally is alive, I feel like your team cannot die. So it's giving me, unironically, and which is kind of crazy to say, ML Arunca vibes on this skill too.
Consumes 20.
We have the skill 3 now. With the Goddess Authority, dispels all debuffs from all allies, increase combat readiness by up to 25%, consumes 20% of the current health of the ally granted offering, granting abundance to all other allies for 2 turns. So what does abundance do? After attacking, inflicts 2000 additional damage on the target. Wow, this is also kind of crazy. Another skill that fits the role of multiple play styles. This gives you a lot of tempo and some damage, right? It's 25% AoE CR boosting, which is pretty good for tempo wise, and gives you abundance, meaning that every unit is a damage dealer essentially, right? 2000 fixed damage though, it's not much, right? Even most of the fixed damage nowadays is slightly higher, but still 2000 fixed damage is good enough. And she basically, so she protects your team from dying from skill 2. Another skill 3 gives you tempo, gives you full cleanse. Okay guys, full cleanse, it's really good, full cleanse, and potentially transforming every unit into a carry. I'm thinking, imagine ML Pyrrha, Soul Burn with Tiberius Tooth and Abundance, right? That's gonna be a lot of damage. So very good skill 3 as well. So far the unit is very complete, right? Skill 2 makes your team survive. Skill 3, full cleanse, tempo, and damage. So far she plays multiple different roles.
Of the current health of the ally, 75%
And then
chance.
we have the skill 1, activates the enemy, attacks the enemy with the Divine Lightning, has a 50% chance to inflict fear for 1 turn before recovering health of all allies proportional to the target's max health. Soul Burn increases effect chance to 100% and attacks all enemies. Wow, this is also pretty good skill 1. It has healing. I'm kind of curious to see the multipliers on this healing. It's going to be important. But the fact that it's a base 75% chance to inflict fear on skill 1 is already good. And then the soul burn, only 10 souls, right? AoE fear, AoE, potentially AoE stun with 100%. I feel like that's kind of crazy. So yeah, and I'm kind of curious to see as well as the scaling on her healing. But as you can see guys, this unit as essentially everything: healing, cleanse, tempo, damage mitigation, and damage to your team, right? If 2000 fixed damage, the abundance on the front ally, making your soaking up 70% of the team's damage, CR boosting on skill 3, full cleanse on skill 3, and damage as well on skill 3 in the forms of abundance. So I'm actually very curious how people are gonna play this unit. Again, I feel like she's a must pull. She's definitely a must pull. She's giving me Boss Arunca vibes, and we all know how good Boss Arunca is. So I 100% recommend everyone to pull her, no matter what your playstyle is. I'm pretty sure she fits in potentially all playstyles. Also, the combo with I mean, nobody's gonna give you Ras plus Mercedes, but who knows, right? Maybe they will. So yeah, guys, leave your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know how you're gonna build her, how you plan on using her, because again, I feel like she has multiple ways to be played. You can even bring, like, I don't know, soul artifact, so you can soul burn. You can bring cleansing artifact, ice crystal, Celestine. You can bring, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure how I will play her myself. I think I'll play her like fastish tempo, because that's the way I like playing this game. But I'm definitely curious to see how people are gonna cook up with her. So let me know what you guys think, and let me know how you'll play her in the comments down below. Also guys, don't forget to tune in on my Twitch if you haven't yet, on the 28th for her release. I have like 80 or 90 galaxy summons ready for her, so hopefully I get her without spinning a single mystic. But even if I don't get her from the galaxies, I will most definitely be pulling her on the mystic banner. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.